Hey everybody, this is Sunny.
And this is Matt.
We're from Empra and we're on the Hard Rock Show. This show fucking rocks.
Rock and roll.
Hi, I'm Shane.
I'm Andrew.
Welcome to the Hard Rock Show.
We're back.
Finally, we're back.
Yeah.
I know it's taken a long time for us to actually get back.
About 5 months, I think
5
it breaks
months?
down to, yeah.
It's been a fucking good break.
It's been a well-deserved break, I would say.
Yeah, totally.
We have enjoyed it, but we haven't been sitting back doing it easy, I don't think, either at the same time. We've been working pretty hard
We've been
still.
doing interviews. We've been going with as many, if not more, gigs than normal.
Yeah,
And,
that's true.
and, you know, we've just been working our asses off to make this the best season for you guys to watch. So,
That's the whole plan.
yeah, thanks for joining us and thanks for continuing to join us.
And hopefully you'll stick with us for another season because we've got a lot more coming up and we reckon that it's going to be a lot better this time around. So,
Absolutely.
yes. So with that said, let's get straight into it, shall we?
Fucking oath.
Alright, so our first piece of news for this week is Black Sabbath. Now, Vinny Appice has finally weighed in himself on the whole debacle that has been involving Bill Ward. He thinks that Bill should be the first point of call for the band to use, and he hasn't even been approached as yet to do so. He thinks it's purely down to money, and that first in line, he would love to see the original band get together and pull the finger out and get the thing done and forget the money because it's all about the fans at this point in time, not anything else. So it really needs to be for what the fans want to see, which is, I'm on the same boat, get the original arm together, stop bitching about the money and get on with it.
Yeah, now, just in case you've been living under a rock, what we're talking about is the Black Sabbath reunion.
Yeah.
It's on again, off again, whatever. I mean, it was going to happen, and then we got word that Bill Ward wasn't going to be a part of it due to money. And then, just as that sort of seemed to be taking care of itself, Tony Iommi was diagnosed with cancer, and the reunion tour was scaled back from a lot of shows to one show only.
Yep.
Apparently the album's still going ahead, but nobody knows who's going to play drums on that record yet. It's all up in the air. I think Vinny Appice probably is the guy for the job if Bill Ward doesn't do it, but I want Bill Ward to do it.
I think everyone wants that. I think that, hands down, everyone wants the original lineup, and that's what everyone's sort of banking on seeing and wanting to see is the original lineup together again. And I would personally... That's what I would desire most. I can't think of a better way for them to have a swan song, so to speak, because I don't see them having a whole lot more together after this sort of point in time. They're all getting on a bit.
It's a hard call to make because, I mean, honestly, I couldn't have seen Ozzy Osbourne doing as many albums recently as he has done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's still got some more solo albums in him. But I guess it's one of those things. We're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out.
Not much that any of the fans can do about it anyway, so it's all up to the parties involved to work out the quote-unquote money issues, I guess, and try and come to an agreement. The only sort of last point I say is that at this point in your careers, guys, you'd think that money wasn't the most important thing.
It's more about the music and the fans at this point. You've made enough money. Just give us what we want to see. Get over yourselves.
Pretty much, yeah. Get on with it.
Yep. Now, speaking of money,
yeah,
because I'm tipping that is all this is about. There's this new concept of bands that have deceased frontmen or guitarists or whatever.
Yeah.
Bringing holograms up on stage to play with them. It's getting a little bit morbid for my liking. Apparently,
I don't see the point of it personally, but that's just me.
well, apparently, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, Tupac joined Dr. Dre up on stage at the Coachella Festival. And, that's not our style of music, whatever. No. Probably not a lot of your style of music either, which is fine. But Queen has come out and said that they're never going to tour the world with a hologram of Freddie Mercury.
Yep.
But there will be a hologram of Freddie Mercury appearing at the 10th anniversary of the We Will Rock You musical concert that the band has had a hand in producing. And I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool concept, but at the same time, it's a bit weird.
Well, I personally fail to see the point of having a hologram on stage. I'd much rather see, if I was going to a show, the actual artists up front. And if you can't see Freddie Mercury anymore, for example, which none of us can, then just do whatever you can with what you've got. I don't really see the need for it.
At the same time, if you were able to go and see someone that has been, such a musical influence for you over the years, I mean, if you were able to go and see Nirvana play with Kurt Cobain, or Elvis Presley, or Freddie Mercury, there's so many influential people that have passed away. The Doors with Jim Morrison up front.
Hendrix would be another one.
Hendrix, of course. Yeah. Would you not go?
I mean,
it's a very interesting concept to bring Bon Scott.
Well, he's very close to our hearts for both of us.
Absolutely.
And Freddie Mercury is for me too, because that was one of my first real introductions to rock and roll.
Totally.
I think the flip side for me is that if you went to the show and you're watching it, you'll always know in the back of your mind that it's a hologram.
Yeah.
And that to me diminishes it somewhat, because you're not seeing, if nothing else, the audio won't be the real audio anymore.
Apparently it is. It's the hologram doesn't even look like a hologram. Apparently, it's really well done, and the audio is the artist's original audio, and it all sounds really, really good. Apparently, and I just reckon, for people that are about our age, 30 years old, that grew up listening to a lot of these artists but never got a chance to see them live, I don't know about the whole world tour and real cash-in thing, but as a one-off show, I reckon I'd drop some money to go and see the likes of Elvis or Bon Scott and Freddie Mercury in particular, because they're three artists. Kurt Cobain, again, another artist that I just think are absolutely phenomenal, and I'd love the chance to see them. And I don't know.
It's all a bit of, I guess, to and froing on it. I don't think that anyone's really going to be able to cut and dry the line. I'm still more on the side of no, for me personally, just because I just think that it's not the same as seeing the real thing, and I think that if you're going to go down that road, then it's fraught with danger, because if one thing goes wrong, the whole thing falls to shit in a heartbeat. And I don't trust things like that to work out overall. But if you can pull it off and it looks good, then I can understand the temptation to go and do it. When I go and see a band, I want to see actual people in front of me sweating at it. I'm not saying they can't do justice with the holograms. I just don't think it's the same thing in my mind. That's just my point of view.
My take on it is, and we've got to speed this up a bit because we're running out of time. But if a band that is current right now is using it as a cash-in to be able to play 2 or 3 cities in the one night, get fucked.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for a band that isn't able to play, or say AC/DC wanted to do one song with Bon Scott each night, not an entire tour, that's a pretty cool concept, and I'd probably be down with it.
I get what you're saying with that. So I would do it I would go along with it for that sort of point of view.
If you're using it as a tribute thing rather than a cash-in thing, I'm sort of all for it. Yeah. But I haven't seen it myself. So
until we see it, we won't know. But
exactly.
I agree with you on that point, at least.
But moving
along, yes. Now, the Hendrix estate, the great late Jimi Hendrix, there's a new movie in the works, sort of a biopic about him and his career and his life and whatever else have you. Now, the Hendrix estate, in particular his sister, have not signed off on this in any way, shape or form. They're saying it's not going to happen. They're not going to use any of the Hendrix music. It's just not even remotely a part of their interest because they're not involved in any way, shape or form.
Yep.
Now, there was a made-for-TV movie some years ago that got around this sort of a thing by using cover music that Hendrix had performed, re-recorded, things like this, just little loopholes and stuff.
Cover songs that he'd performed and they've reused them.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago that movie came out,
So that's a bit of a dodgy way to go around it, if you ask me. I don't think that's paying much of an homage to the man.
Kind of smart way to get about it.
It's
though.
very clever.
And it was
cunning.
actually a decent movie too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't say, but it's a very cunning way to do it, but I
Yeah,
don't think
totally.
it's the right thing to do personally. Morally speaking, I just don't think it's right. And if the Hendrix estate aren't on board with this, then I really don't see why they're still pushing ahead with it. So that's just my personal take on it.
All right, on to some new releases for this week. Or actually, some of them aren't really that current because we've been gone for a while,
Yeah.
but there's a couple that we really want to talk about. So,
Absolutely.
First is Cold Chisel.
I think this is a fine return.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
their first original record in 12 years.
Yep,
It's the first that they've recorded without their drummer, Steve Presswich.
that's right.
The album's called No Plans, just in case I haven't mentioned that
No,
already.
you haven't mentioned it yet, but now you have.
Yeah, really, really solid. I really, really like the way the whole record has come out. I've got a couple of favourite tracks off it. Have you?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah. One of my favourites is the actual title track, which is called No Plans.
Yep.
I also really, really like Too Late,
Yeah.
which is one of the songs that H.M.A.S is singing rather
Yep.
than Jimmy Barnes.
Yep.
Now, we all know how good of a singer Jimmy Barnes is.
Yes.
He's very underrated. If the stories are to be believed, he's been offered the gig in Van Halen a couple of times, and he's been
Yeah.
offered the gig in Deep Purple. So,
It's not a bad sort of thing to put on your resume, is it?
yeah, he's a totally underrated vocalist.
Yep.
And I think that this record probably demonstrates how good he is, better than he's ever demonstrated in his entire career, to be honest.
Well, I think that he's actually done the right thing in diversifying his career. He's done some, covers albums and blues albums, and he's gone and branched out a bit over his career.
Yep.
And I think that if you go through his back catalogue, you'll understand that he is very diverse and very talented. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying there. I think this album is a very fine return to form, and I think that it's an ideal way to come back to the fold, so to speak.
Yep.
A couple of favourites for me were HQ 454 Monroe. I thought that was a really good one, and All For You. I just like those two tracks off the album the most of all, but overall, great return, so I couldn't fault it.
Definitely.
Yep.
And it's kind of sad
Yeah.
that Steve Presswich wasn't able to record the album with the band. So
Yeah.
he passed away so close after they reunited and got their shit back together.
Yeah.
But it's great that the band still went ahead and recorded this album, and I think it was actually dedicated to Steve Presswich. So,
Fitting either way, yeah.
really good return to form, and I'm glad to see him back.
Yep, same here. So here's for more of it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, speaking of comeback records,
Oh, yeah.
Van Halen, and I know this one's probably damn near 4 months old by now.
It was out not long after we started our break.
Yeah,
so,
I think it came out February, around there.
Yeah.
Late January, February.
something like that, yeah.
But it is just an absolutely phenomenal comeback album. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point in time, there is so many bands from Soundgarden to Chisel to you name them. If they've ever broken up in the past, they're coming back and doing reunion
It's
albums
the
right
current
now.
trend, so to speak.
Yeah, reunions are all the rage. And if anybody wants to know how to do a reunion record properly, go and grab yourself a copy of A Different Kind of Truth.
Yeah.
Because this record will fucking blow your mind.
I have to agree with you. Now, I'm going to come out right and say that the first time I was listening to this album, it didn't grab me. I especially with the lead single being
Really?
Tattoo,
Yeah.
it did not get my attention. I thought Tattoo was a letdown.
Yeah,
After
so
all
did
the
I.
anticipation.
So did
When
I.
we got a hold of the album, and I just sat down and said, okay, you're going to listen to this thing because this is what you do. And the more I listened to it, the better it got.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't grab me. Tattoo did not grab me, but you listen to the album, and there are so many better songs in there.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Tattoo didn't grab me at all
Yep.
either, but it grew on me really quickly.
I like the song now.
Really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And then when I actually got the rest of the album, I listened to it and I went, wow, She's the Woman, Chinatown.
Yeah.
So many great songs on it, and it slots straight in to where Van Halen left off with Van Halen 2. I reckon this could be called Van Halen 3.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
everything between now and then could be ignored. Like,
Yeah.
Just-
you could do that.
it's perfect. Love it.
The two tracks for me off this one were She's the Woman and Big River. I love those two tracks the
Yeah,
most. I reckon
wow.
they're just catchy and groovy and awesome. And like I said before, this album, the more you listen to it, the more it grows on you. It's just one of those ones that you put it on, and you can't help it. It's infectious. I love it.
My tracks, She's the Woman, and
Yep.
Chinatown.
Yep.
Love them, can't go past them.
Very nice.
Now we've got one more. It's Stalingrad by Accept.
Yep.
Another, it's not so much of a comeback record because they did Blood of the Nations about 2 years ago.
Yep.
And that one was probably their comeback record. New singer, total return to form. This one blows that one out of the water.
Hell yeah.
I thought Blood of the Nations was fucking awesome.
this one
kicks its ass.
Yeah.
So, they're just doing nothing but good things, and I hope that they continue to keep doing what they're doing because it's awesome.
It's thrashy, it's pacey, it's just got that little bit of drama or theatre to it as well. At the same time, I do really, really enjoy this album very thoroughly.
Yeah, totally. And I really hope that they get their asses to Australia pretty frigging quickly because
Yeah.
I'd love to see them live. Never seen them.
Neither have I.
Not actually sure if they've ever been to Australia,
I can't think off the top of my head, no, so don't know.
but yeah, I hope that they come here very soon.
Yeah, that would be good.
But anyway, let's jump ahead now.
Yes.
We've got a band to talk about called H.M.A.S. Vendetta.
This one's a little bit different.
Very different.
Yeah.
They've got a EP called The Light Horseman. And this EP,
Well, I've got to
I
say
don't
that
really know where to start with this one.
at the outset, you and I weren't grabbed because we were told to expect something a little bit different than what we actually got. Now,
Yeah.
that's whatever. But when you actually sit down and listen to this, it's different. There are no guitars.
No guitars.
That's worth mentioning straight off the bat. But there is something about it that is definitely rock and has a bit of metal. And if Apocalyptica, for example, can pull it off like you told me earlier tonight,
Yep.
then these guys have a place. And it's well worth listening to.
Yeah, and look, they're talented.
Yeah.
They're good at what they do. Lyrically, I mean, he's doing a really good job to
Yeah.
write an EP all based around, Gallipoli and World War II or One or whatever it was.
That's Gallipoli, mate.
I don't do history.
I'm the
I
history
drink.
buff, he's not.
I don't do history, I drink.
Yep.
Anyway, fuck you. But, to be able to write a concept album
Yep.
or EP even is a really difficult thing to do.
And it's not easy subject matter that is chosen either for this EP.
No.
And for their general overall atmosphere and the show they put on, it's not the easiest of topics. You're talking about an older style thing. It's an old war that no one understands anymore.
Yep.
And they've gone and taken it and tried to tell the story. And I think they've really done their homework and they really do pull it off. They do a really good job of it.
Yeah. But let's take a look at one of the clips and
Yep.
let the music speak for itself.
Enjoy.
Gray sky, creeping chill, the loneliness of innocence. The violent faces hold me still. Across the tyranny of distance, I headed for the underground, or just a shove that pushed around. I took it all like them made not to sell. Door of my heart, my country, broken in disarray. Why did I not know my love for thee until I went away? So I say, I'll say, I'll say, I'll say. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. 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 Aussie,
Okay, that was H.M.A.S Vendetta with their track My Country. It's pretty cool, pretty different.
Very different.
They've got another EP on the way as well, so check them out. Get out to a gig, buy their shit off iTunes or off their own website.
Yep.
Just
get out and support it, because these guys have got to have credit, if nothing else. This may or may not be your cup of tea, so to speak, but even if you don't like it, you got to give them credit for doing something that's different and original.
Yeah,
and
just
I fully endorse that.
give it a chance. It'll grow on you because it grew on us.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's cool.
Yep.
All right, on to our feature artist, which is Empra.
Absolutely.
Awesome young band from Melbourne. They're just about ready to drop their debut album, which is a self-titled album recorded with Ricky Ray.
Another one
That's recorded with Ricky. I mean, Ricky must be the most busy music producer in Melbourne right now.
He's doing his own band as well on top of that.
Yeah. He's
full on.
totally working his ass
He's
off.
killing it, though. He is absolutely killing it. Whatever comes out of his studio sounds absolutely phenomenal. So can't fault the work at all.
Absolutely. But anyway, this isn't about Ricky. This is about Empra.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, we've talked about a lot of bands from Melbourne, and every one of them deserves as much praise as the next. But Empra, I don't know. I don't want to say that they're, you know, they're more deserving than everybody else, but these guys are they're just fantastic. I mean, musically they're unreal, and they're just probably the easiest blokes to get along with that we've come across so far.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, they are probably the hardest working band around Melbourne right now as well. I know we said that about the Deep End, and we're not knocking the Deep End.
No, not at all.
Absolutely stand by the fact that the Deep End are a hard working band. But
same with the Destroy, she said, and other bands we've talked about before as well.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of hard working bands out there.
But if anyone was going to take the Deep End's crown for the hardest working band, it would be Empra.
Yeah.
The album's about to come out. It comes out on the 26th of May, sorry. I'm confused with these months that start with M. That's okay. And they're doing a huge launch at Revolver in Chapel Street.
Tickets are selling very fast for that too.
Tickets are selling very fast.
Yeah.
Now, for $15 entry, not only do you get the awesome Empra as the headline act, but you get Cola Wars playing, and there's a couple of other awesome bands on there as well, who I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yep.
No
This is
offense
about
to
Empra
those
anyway.
bands, but
This is
it's
about Empra
just about
anyway.
Empra.
Yep.
But for that $15 ticket price, you also get a copy of their debut album at the door. Not a download, an actual copy of the physical copy of the album.
Hand.
Which is
we
just-
both love.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
Yep.
I highly recommend this album as well. We are lucky enough to be some of the first people outside of the band to actually hear it, and we heard it probably a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
This band's gone through hell to record this record.
Yeah, absolutely.
It came out so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Now, if you've been to any of their shows around town, you've probably seen them giving away, selling, just getting rid of this single. These are two of the songs off the album.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've been giving them away is no reflection on the quality.
Oh, no.
It's
Not at all.
still the same songs recorded by Ricky Ray that are going to be on the album. It's I Won't Give Up, and the other track is Doesn't Make Much Sense.
Yep.
And they're both awesome tracks.
They are.
And these guys live is an absolute phenomenal show. They do it and they leave everything on the stage. They don't leave anything in the tank when they go off.
No.
And we've seen them live a few times now. And from that to the album, this album was one of those rare gems you get a hold of that it's actually quite hard to go and pick a favourite to.
Yeah.
I found it hard because the more I listened to it, the more I wanted to pick this song or that song or this song or that song. But we're limited to two and so whatever else have you. But this was one of those rare gems that it's actually really hard to pick a favourite to. But
Totally.
I did pick a couple, which was...
We'll come back to the
yeah,
favourites.
yeah.
Right now, we'll play their debut video clip,
Very good.
which is Doesn't Make Much Sense. It's the first single off the record, and it's awesome. Check it out.
You're holding on to anger from the life you seem to choose. You're blinded by the torture of the judgments passed by you. This is killing you and me. This life doesn't make much sense when I'm sticking around, waiting for something to end. What would you do if I threw this away? Frustrated, I've had enough, I've given it all, and now I'm losing a friend. What can I do? You're fading away. Now everyone's a betrayer. Even the God-fearing man. Your blasted eyes a disaster. Beaten down for self-abuse. You can't do this to yourself. This life doesn't make much sense when I'm sticking around, waiting for something to end. What would you do if I threw this away? Frustrated, I've had enough, I've given it all, and now I'm losing a friend. What can I do? You're fading away. This life doesn't make much sense when I'm sticking around, waiting for something to end. What would you do if I threw this away? Frustrated, I've had enough, I've given it all, and now I'm losing a friend. What can I do? You're fading away. What would you do if I threw this away? What can I do? You're fading away.
Okay, that was Doesn't Make Much Sense by Empra. It's
Yeah.
off their debut self-titled record, and it's just an awesome track, as are the rest of the tracks on the record.
You can't fault this album.
I know you've got a couple of favourites.
Yep. One of them was the song you guys all just saw, which just doesn't make much sense. Another song for me, when you get a hold of this, is Charity Song.
Yep.
I reckon those two tracks for me are the absolute standouts, although I will give a brief little shout out to Sabrina at the end of the album, which is a really good way to close it out.
Wow. Yeah. We actually haven't gone back and forth and discussed our
No.
favourites off this record or anything
Not
like
at
that.
all.
But mine are the two tracks off here doesn't make much sense, and I Won't Give Up. I
Yeah.
reckon I Won't Give Up has that awesome radio friendly, but also pop crossover thing that
Yep.
the Foo Fighters are doing so well.
Exactly.
Those two tracks are probably the absolute highlights for me. But Sabrina is a total ballad. There's not a rock moment to the track, but I
Not at all.
absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's so well written and it's so well done that I think it's perfection. And you know, I can't wait to see this band all over radio because I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
Well, people don't believe it. You and I do not sit down and listen to these albums together very often and,
No,
and
we
go
don't.
and we'll go pick this song, pick that song. We don't, but we...
Basically, when we're off camera, we can't actually stand to be in each other's company.
I think some people might beg to differ about that point, but anyway.
But yeah, sorry, go on.
No. It's just, you're right. This album and this band are one of the most potentially radio-friendly bands that are going around, and the influences like Green Day and the Foo Fighters and Weezer.
Weezer.
which they
Yeah,
highlight
Weezer's
as
one
well.
of the ones that the band tells us that.
Yeah. They shine through, and the earlier punk influences of Sandy in particular do shine through in the album, just in the catchiness and how much it hooks you in. It's a really, really good and well-produced, masterfully done album. I can't fault this one at all.
Yep. Let's take a look at the band actually talking this record and the band up themselves in the interview that we did with the boys a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Enjoy. All right, we're here with Sandy and Matt from Empra. How you going, guys? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. We're here at the Hard Rock Show, favorite YouTube channel.
Tell us a bit about the band, how you formed, and how you came together.
Yeah, well, we're called Empra. We're from Melbourne, Australia. We formed over the internet, actually. After the last band I was playing in broke up, I begged him to play bass in my new band in the middle of a cricket oval. I had to beg him to join this band, and then he said, "Okay, I'll join your band." And then began the long journey to find a drummer and a guitarist. So we went through about 27 auditions on Melbourne, the internet forum. Finally, we found the right guys, and then the band was formed.
Nice.
Yeah, took about 1.5 years to find the right guys.
Very interesting auditions. We had this one guy come in, and his snare drum, he would have held it about that high, and he's playing like this. I don't know, just some very bizarre auditions.
There's some strange cats out there.
There is.
So, where does the name Empra actually come from?
Okay, initially, I had this idea of calling the band MPRA, like MXPX, so it sounded really punk rock, right? But when you Google search MPRA, you get a whole bunch of search results that begin with Metropolitan Police. So obviously, I thought that was not cool, right? So, and it was going to be hard to become more famous than Metropolitan Police. So we decided to add an E in front of MPRA, and that turned into Empra. And we thought, oh, I guess sounds pretty cool, you know? Sounded a bit unique. Now with search results, when you type Empra, we're number 1 on the Google search.
Yep. Now, here's a question for you. Is it difficult to be in a band with 3 guys named Matt?
Actually, to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way, man. It's pretty cool, you know. We almost called ourselves Sunny and the Mats, but it sounded too indie rock and too tight jeans, you know. So like, I don't know, fuck that. We're not gonna go Sunny and the Mats. But yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, everyone, like, he's original gangster Matt, so he's got the first choice Matt. He's the only guy in the band that can be referred to as a Matt.
Yeah.
And then there's Galti, with his surname, and Katna, a drummer. So it's actually just one Matt, kind of.
It's very funny. If he wants to get anyone's attention, he just goes, "Oi, Matt!" We all turn around.
So it makes life easier in a lot of ways, I
It
guess.
certainly does.
Now, you've got a record that's about to be released. Tell us a bit about that and the recording process.
Yeah, so we recorded with Ricky Ray out in the country, which is really cool. They're driving up to the studio. You got all the kangaroos out in the bush and that. And yeah, it was just a really cool experience. It wasn't in, the dark sort of studio. It had a big sunlights and all that in there, and I don't know, just felt really great to record and learn a lot and had a really cool experience recording out there.
Cool.
Yeah, this album is actually the second attempt we've had at recording this album, because the first one was fucked, man.
I had that down. I was going to ask you about that original
It sounded
experience.
like shit, man. So you're like, fuck, we can't release this. So we had to re-record it again. But fortunately, Ricky Ray came and saved our asses and produced this really awesome sounding record. And yeah, we're pretty stoked. It's about to come out. It's coming out on the 26th of May, and then we go on tour for 3 months to promote it.
Awesome. What made you go with Ricky Ray?
Cause he did Electric Mary, man. That's all we needed to know.
He's got a pretty good body of work that he's done now.
And we love Electric Mary. We love the sound of the record, so it was and we're just happy that he wanted to record us.
Yep. Where does your songwriting inspiration come from?
It's usually it's very autobiographical. It's just real life stuff, like, stuff that's happened over the years, like, like losing your friends, girlfriend problems and relationships and just stuff about,
Excuse me.
just life, man. Just like, overcoming all the hardships of life and just trying to keep going, So that's the source of a lot of the songs.
Yeah. And do you guys write together as a unit, or does one person handle the songwriting? Or
Yeah, generally Sonny comes up with the core of the song, I suppose. He comes up with all the lyric content and sort of, all the basic parts of the songs, and then brings it into the rehearsal, and we'll jam it and put our own, our own spin on it, and sort of, get it sounding like a band.
Nice. Now you guys are about to embark on a tour as well in support of this new record that's coming out. How many places are you actually going? I know it's quite an extensive tour that you've got planned.
Yeah, about 26 dates all around Australia. We're sort of going everywhere except for Alice Springs. Sorry guys, we'll come next time.
What areas are you actually going to be hitting on this tour?
Yeah, so all the major capital cities, a lot of regional areas as well. We're going regional Vic, regional New South Wales. We're even playing a skydive centre in about 2 hours out of Brisbane.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Which will be really cool. We get free skydives.
How have fans reacted to Empra's music so far?
So far it's been pretty good, man. I mean, like, we've managed to build a fan base in Adelaide and Sydney and Melbourne and some of the country towns, and generally we get very positive feedback after our shows, and we always get at least one page of mailing list sign-ups after our set, so I think we're doing something right. But it's been good. It's been very encouraging, and yeah, it's cool.
Internet and social media play a huge role in bands getting their name out there these days. How have you found that that's helped you guys?
Oh, enormously. I think our entire strategy is built around social media, and we really pump the Facebook and the YouTube. We have a YouTube blog, and we go hard on Facebook and Twitter. And actually, every week, just like sometimes just by not actually actively playing, we're always winning fans. There are always new subscribers and new people liking our Facebook or new people following us on Twitter. So it's great, man. It's like, it's free publicity and it works.
Yeah, well, you guys have really embraced that side of things as well. I mean, you're one of the only bands that I've seen actually give out your Facebook addresses and things on stage and really try to push that. Yeah. So, obviously you guys have found that really works for you.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And hopefully I'm not too annoying on stage when I start to say like www.facebook.com/empraonline, youtube.com/empraonline, that kind of shit. But it works. It's free publicity, and your stuff you don't have to pay for if you're just willing to spend time on it. It actually helps get your music out there, and we've got fans like liking us from all over the world and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
Yeah.
Now, just going back to the record for a couple of minutes, you've got a special guest on one of the songs. Do you just want to tell everybody about who that is and how that came about?
Yep. In one of the songs, actually the last track, it's this ballad called Sabrina. We have a guest, and his name is Wally DeBacker, otherwise known as Gautier, and he's actually a friend of mine from way back. I don't mean to sound like a poser, but he actually really is a friend of mine. I used to play in this band called The Suns, and he used to play in this band called The Basics, which is an awesome band, and we did a couple of shows. We did quite a lot of shows together, and he knew my best friend Wayne, who actually passed away, who this record is actually in tribute and honor of. And so I had the song, I demoed it at home on the computer, and I sent it to him and said, "Hey Wally, can you come down and do your Gautier stuff on this song?" And he heard the song and said, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it, man." I was like, "Oh, sweet." And one day he came down, he did all the stuff. So he said, like, "So Sonny, what me play?" I don't know. I just said, "Just make it sound like Gautier played on this song." And he did his thing, and it really sounds like Gautier played on the song.
Definitely.
So it's like, fuck, so sweet.
Well, he's super busy at the moment. I mean, he's blowing up all over the world. So it's really cool that he took the time to go and do some stuff on your album.
Yeah, he's like that, man. Like Wally's the the coolest famous guy I've ever known, man. Like we've met some dudes like we play gigs with, right? Have more attitude than Wally, man. And Wally's like the guy from Gautier, you know. It's like, what the hell, man? You know.
Totally. Who are your influences? Do you have different influences, or are you all influenced by the same kind of bands and music?
Yeah, I think, it's generally everyone's going to sort of like a few different sort of bands, but overall I think the band's pretty focused in the influences. There's obviously the Foo Fighters and Green Day and Weezer and Queens of Stone Age and those sort of bands. Our drummer's got a bit more of a punk rock, punk pop background.
Yep.
And I'm sort of more, I guess, rock and roll as well. But overall it sort of comes in, and you kind of get the rock with a little bit of punk rock in there, and yeah.
I love a lot of punk bands, and I come from that kind of background and stuff. But yeah, generally the sound of Empra is very focused on Foo Fighters, Green Day, Weezer,
Yep.
Queens of Stone Age, and like some Led Zeppelin. That's kind of the bands we collectively kind of. That was like the criteria of joining this band. You had to like these bands. If not, you're out.
I was going to say your sound is sort of very similar to what the Foo Fighters are doing. That's got that radio friendly kind of vibe to it, but it also it is fine for hard rock guys to get into your kind of music. And was that something that you set out to do, or does that just sort of happen naturally?
I think kind of just happened naturally.
Yeah.
Like, coming from a punk background, you generally tend to write very catchy songs, because a lot of punk bands have catchy songs, and then combining that with like your hard rock stuff, you generally end up getting like hard rock music, but with very catchy melodies on top of that music. So it kind of gelled.
Yeah.
It's a combination of that punk and rock thing, I think.
We've always just sort of ensured that we don't lose the balls. Like, that's been one big thing. Like, we want to write good songs, that kind of thing, but we don't want to just back off. We want to be hard edged.
Yeah, we don't want to turn indie, man.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have done countless gigs over the last few years. Who have been some of your favourite bands to play with?
Piston Broke.
Piston Broke?
Piston Broke's the best band to play with, man.
Really?
Yeah. As long as we're playing before them, so that after we play, we can have a few beers and watch them. Yeah, Piston Broke. We always have fun when we play at Piston Broke.
Yeah, there's also, some of the guys that you've already had on here, like the Deep End, are always awesome fun to play with. King of the North are really quite cool. Fast Track, before they broke up, obviously,
Yep.
we had played a couple of really cool shows with them.
And you've done some shows with some bands that are starting to get a bit bigger now as well, like Calling All Cars, and there's been others, hasn't there?
Yeah, we're doing some. We're playing with British India, and we tell people we play with Dead Letter Circus, but actually the truth is we were on that same massive bill and we were like way in front of them, but we still kind of played with them.
Who would you actually love to share the stage with?
Australian or international act?
Any?
Weezer.
Weezer.
My dream.
Yeah, Weezer would be cool.
Yeah.
AC/DC would be amazing as well.
AC/DC.
Obviously.
Now, you guys have played lots and lots of gigs around Melbourne, but you've also gone out to Sydney and Adelaide. What do you find the differences are from the Melbourne scene versus other interstate scenes?
I really like Adelaide. They go for it. Like, they just go off. Like, Melbourne, I guess you get a lot of people just sort of standing back like, okay, I can go anywhere, see any band, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Adelaide, I don't know, there's something about there where they just go a bit crazy, which is a lot of fun.
It's almost like Melbourne fans are starting to take it a bit for granted that they can go and see cool bands at multiple venues anytime. And
I think there is a bit of that danger,
Yeah.
yeah. You have to do, if you get Melbourne fans going off, you must be going pretty well, because
I think so. I think also because like in Melbourne, you're spoilt for choice, man. Like people in rock fans in Melbourne have seen it all, man. You know, from the massive bands to the just small bands and everything in between. But generally, like every show outside Melbourne seems to be more of a crazy riot than Melbourne for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, do you guys have any international plans?
Not at this stage. We're kind of focusing on the Australian tour first.
Yep.
And then once that is over, then we're gonna we want to go overseas, possibly to China. We were just talking about it just now. So we'll see what happens, but no plans at the moment.
Yep. Will the album be available overseas? Obviously, probably through iTunes.
Yes, it actually already is on iTunes since 2 days ago, but we haven't
Okay.
announced it yet. Actually, now I'm announcing it. So you can get it on iTunes, or you can buy it from our website, and
Yeah.
you can get the digital copy straight away.
Now, what's next for Empra? After the album's done and the tour's done, where do you go next?
I think we reevaluate after the obviously after the tour's over and kind of see how it all goes. There's obviously, as we said, there's that sort of idea that we wouldn't mind going overseas, kind of see how it goes, and then sort of get planning and hopefully do another summer tour or something like that, which would be really cool.
Yep.
And then sort of start writing and start thinking about the second album.
Yeah, we're actually we've actually started writing the second album already and getting close to finishing it, kind of. So we want to finish writing that as well and work towards the second album.
All right, you mentioned that the album is a tribute to somebody that you know.
Yeah, the album is a tribute to Wayne Thunder, who is a punk rock legend from Singapore, and he was the drummer in my last band. He was my best mate for 16 years of my life, and we were on tour in Southeast Asia where he unfortunately and tragically he passed away in his sleep, and then after that happened, the band broke up, and I kind of I stopped playing music for 1.5 years because I just lost my best friend and I just didn't have the drive anymore. But then I thought, no, I got to keep the dream going. I had to do this for him.
Yep.
So, through a series of events and a long process, finally this band formed. And this album was inspired by just wanting to honor that friendship, your best mate in your life and just keeping the thing going, So this album's actually a tribute to him. That's the story behind it.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, so that's about all we got time for. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's been
Thanks for
awesome.
Yeah, thanks heaps for having us.
No worries. All right, that was our interview with Empra. We had a lot of fun doing that. The guys are so good, and
There is so much that didn't make the cut as well, but anyway.
yeah, totally. But
Yep.
they've looked after us in ways, and we will look after them in ways that you guys just won't even know. It all takes
No.
place behind the scenes. And
Yep.
we love them, and we wish them nothing but the greatest of successes in their career.
Yeah, they are well-deserving lads. They really do.
Absolutely.
And deserve to have a very good crack at this. So I wish them all the best, and I think this album is a really good way to kick things off.
I think it's going to kick in some doors for them. It's not just going to open them, it's going to kick in some doors.
And so it should.
Yep.
So it should.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But that's about all the time we've got this week.
Well, we've gone overtime, but too bad for you because this is our welcome back episode.
Yeah,
so we're just going for it, and we don't care.
We've done the longest episode we've ever done right now.
Probably yes.
Yeah. So if you turned it off, then eat a dick.
And you just missed the best part.
Because you should totally just be watching everything we do.
Subscribe to the channel, watch what we do, pay attention because there's a lot more to come this season. As far as we're concerned, it's going to be the biggest and best one yet. So hang with us.
We've already got a lot of cool shit in the can, so
Yeah.
just hang around, check us out, and until next week, drink up.
And rock on.